So, welcome. It's December 6th, almost 9 o'clock. In Holland, that is. And how are the Globe 580 sailors doing? So, another tracker update. And don't forget to look at normal website, because if you want to know what's coming off the boat, then sometimes it's really interesting to just look at not only the tracker and the live tracking, but you can look at the SoundCloud. Basically, that's recorded calls with three of the guys, because Don, Etienne and Michel have a set phone. And if you want to know how the other two guys are doing, then you only have to look here. And if you can see what's coming from the boat, so roughly every 12 hours they send a tweet. So yeah, if you want to know what's happening, then you can read here. And the funny thing is that you can hear a bit how things are going, and boat all over the place, coffee on deck, head, whole bulkhead, seats, cushions, etc. Speed to Canyon, and then you know that it's at least good enough to make coffee, but maybe not to drink it. So there's a lot of wind for the guys at this moment. So but it's fun. It's fun. Just look it up. If you want. If you don't want, just don't, of course. So let's go to the tracker, because it's all about the tracker update. So for the guys who are in here first, this is only okay is enough. And then we are looking at the Globe Transit. So if you look at the bigger picture, you can see that the Azor High is a bit under stress. Because of heavy weather systems up north, but that's okay. Our guys don't have too much problems with this. So let's zoom to the race area. Here we go, and let's see at the leaderboard who and what are they doing. So Menawan is ahead at this moment, and with only 970 nautical miles to the finish, he is not very far from the second boat, number 2, and Etienne has only 970 nautical miles to the finish, so that's incredibly close. And I just did some calculating, and 4 days ago the guys, at least the 4 leaders, were on about 11,000 square nautical miles, and at this moment it's roughly 5,500 square miles that fleet is scattered. So yeah, they're not only close, but they're a lot closer than 4 days ago. Tracker with Don, about 1,060 miles roughly, then Origami 1,084, and Molly Claire has got to do roughly 600 more than the Origami, so he's roughly 600 miles behind. So what estimated finish do we have here? If you look from the group line owners recent, VMG, velocity made good recent. So VMG, it's a bit difficult to understand, but if you look at VMG, then that's the speed, that's the vector of the speed that you make good to the destination that you have. So if you are sailing away from the finish, in the opposite direction, so if you go back with and you sail away from the finish, and you're doing 5 nautical miles an hour, then your VMG, your velocity made good, is -5. So velocity made good is a factor. So if the guys are doing a VMG or 5.7, then actually it's very possible that they go faster than this. And we have seen a very high 24 hours for these small boats, because Michel had 24 hours ago a 24-hour distance made good. So that's the vector distance, not the speed, it's the distance, of 24 hours of 148 miles. And yeah, I would say that's very, very close. I predicted last time that it would be possible that we even would see 150 miles on the VMG or the DMG. But they're very close to that mark, and they're doing a terrific job. They're sailing these small boats very, very fast, actually. Yeah, that the boats are very close to each other is great fun. So also for the guys themselves. But how did they come here? So we put the slider back to the 2nd of December, around the 1700. Yes, somewhere now from this. Okay, and we will zoom to the race area. Oh, that's not possible, but I will zoom in a bit. And then we can see what they have done the last 4 days. And then you can also see that the actual fleet is coming closer to each other. It's interesting to see. So here Michel with Menawan overtook HN with number 88, and almost there, here they're now. So they were talking about a lot of wind. Yeah, we can see that they're in a big patch of relatively big winds. So remember, it's always when you have about a color of 30-ish knots, then it's easily in squalls it will be 40 knots. So they have a lot of wind, but those are tough little boats, so wind is not a problem, but it's the waves they're working with. And you can see, if we look at the waves, that the waves are quite hefty. Moleculaire is in a nice patch, but if we look at the guys, then you can see that's about 6-7-ish meters high. They're far away from each other, those waves, but yeah, on the swell there's always a different wave in a bit of a different direction. So for those small boats, that's interesting. So the waves, and how are the currents doing? Number 2 is in a good position. Don with Tracker and Peter with Origami are in a good position, but for the next 24 hours, if a number 2 jibes, then he will stay in a good position. So maybe he will, maybe he won't. So do they have any sun? Oops, no, not too much. Origami is doing good. Tracker and the other guys are sailing into a bit of cloudy stuff. And Moleculaire is coming out of some clouds, but yeah, let's see how this will be when they go further. We'll see. Back to the wind, and we'll go 24 hours from now. So 24 hours from now, so that's around this, they will have less wind. And they don't have a lot to do anymore. So if you look here, we take the ruler, we put it on Menawan, and we put it here on the finish. And you can see that the distance actually now for the number 1 is 950 miles. So let's see, 950 divided by 1 what shall we say, eh? If he sails fast and they eat their food, so the boats are getting lighter and lighter. What shall we say? Yeah, he's steady on around 130 miles per 24 hours. So back to my math help. Divided by 947 divided by 135 roughly. So within a week it's possible that within 7 days we can see the finisher. That's not bad actually. So yeah, it's a bit sad because then it's over. So remember, when we make a new boat, we make it even slower, so we have more fun, but this is the reality. So when we look at 8 December, so roughly 48 hours from now, this is what the weather looks like. It will be a bit less hefty than now, and if we look at the waves, it clears up too, because they're sailing out of it. And Moliclair will get the big waves, but hey, you can't have it all. 9, 10 December, let's see, and it will be more easy and more relaxing for the last 4 days to come. So yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, yeah. Okay, this was the tracker update of Monday, December 6th from Holland, and it's very cold and rainy here, even wet snow. So see you next time. If you made it to this far, thanks very much, and don't forget to check out the website with all the nice features, and the Twitter and the SoundCloud, etc., etc. It's quite funny to hear them talking.